Hello there, fellow NPCs. I'm Carbon Scythe, and today we're getting back into Everlasting Summer. In the last few episodes, we have just saved Shurik after he was gone for, well, basically 2 weeks. 1.5 weeks, I guess. But we out of game, that is. In game, he was just gone for a day. And now, I need to find all the ingredients to making a cake, so that we can celebrate me saving Shurik. But why the hell am I the one getting the ingredients for the cake when I am the hero of the day? That is pretty much where we're at right now. So let's see, we have the library, infirmary, and the clubhouse. I don't remember who has what, but these are the 3 places we need to get ingredients from. So, with that said, let's go. Let's go to the library at first. If ever of the place on the cake ingredient list made at least some sense to me, then flour from the library made none. I thought hard about who would put it in the library and why, but couldn't find any sane explanation after all. Given Senya's harsh nature, I'd better knock first. Oh, the birds just died off there. Open. Senya peered at me closely from behind her glasses. What do you want? Don't think anything weird, but I didn't want to look like an idiot and decided to explain things carefully. I need some flour. Olga Dmitrievna said that it's here. I understand it sounds strange to keep the flour in the library, but I was sent to you, and it's needed for a cake, to celebrate Shurik's rescue. Yes, I have the flour. What's so strange about it? Everything about that is strange. Senya replied with surprise. At the second I felt like I'd been hit in the head with a heavy weight and lost the ability to understand anything at all. Flour in the library. Sure, what's so strange about it? We're in Wonderland. I'm Alice, and I'm gonna eat the magic mushroom and I'll be back home. Hey. Yeah? I was daydreaming. Wait here, I'll be right back. She disappeared behind the bookshelves while I folded my hands and started waiting. A moment later, the sound of a trapdoor groaning on its hinges reached me. Hey, you need some help? I inquired loudly. I'll deal with it. Senya barked out at me. It seems to be in the basement, so I'll have to wait a little. Why does she have to wait? Okie dokie. I guess they meant to say that I need to wait while she fetches it. A few minutes passed, but Senya still hadn't returned. I was starting to get worried when the door was suddenly flung open and Alyssa came into the library. She looked surprised too, seeing me here. What are you doing here? Am I not allowed to be here? I said rudely to her. Alyssa was clearly a bit overwhelmed. What do I care? She snorted and headed to Senya's table. And why are you here then? Alyssa measured with her eyes carefully and almost opened her mouth to say something, but then seemed to change her mind and turned away, hiding her hands behind her back. Returning a book? I blurted the first thing off the top of my head. It's none of your business, she replied with a hint of hesitation. What book is it? Alyssa was silent. Oh, come on, let me see it. I wonder what Miss High Voltage Keep Away reads. It's none of your business. Her voice was even less confident. Okay, I don't insist or anything. In fact, I was quite interested to find out what Alyssa was reading. Moreover, I was quite amused to see a book in her hands. TV, movies, or a computer, if one were available, all these things seemed to be much more appropriate entertainment for a girl like her. But she had a book instead. Tried to snatch the book out of Alyssa's hand. Stay on guard. Oh no! I need to check that. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and what I need to do is not to steal the book from her. Stay on guard instead. That is how you score points with her. Curiosity killed the cat. Anyway, it's Alyssa, and that means it could quickly turn into a total mess. Plus I still have ingredients to collect. Well, I'll come later. Alyssa left the library quickly without looking at me. It got me thinking. What could this book be about if she was so ashamed of it? And ashamed Alyssa is something extraordinary by itself. But Alyssa, ashamed about a book. Well, what's the point of guessing now? There's no way to find anything out. Finally, Semyon's deep groan rang out, reaching each and every corner of the library. Grab it! I passed by the bookshelves and I beheld the perspiring librarian sitting near the trapdoor leading into the basement with a small sack next to her. Well, they might have some sort of a storehouse down there. Thanks. I took the sack and left the library. Thank goodness it wasn't too heavy, so I carried it down to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin without too much effort. Oh, okay. So that's it. I guess we will be able to fix the cake by in this episode. I feel like I've visited the infirmary too often recently. Well, what can I do? That's how things pan out. What do we have here? I sighed and knocked on the door. Come in, the nurse said with a trace of sing-song accent. Good afternoon. Olga Dmitrievna sent me to get some... I hesitated slightly. Yeast. Right. Yeast. Ah, sure. She gave me a broad smile. It's just that I don't have any. Pioneer. Dude, why does she emphasize Pioneer every single time? Frickin' predator. How so? She said that... Well, I had some. But now there's none left. I didn't even bother asking why she had it in the first place. Well, don't you worry. You can have some aspirin, for example. That could be of some use to me, actually. Where do I get it, then? I sighed. Take this. She opened a drawer and pulled out some kind of bottle. Ostankinskoe was a well-known brand of cheap beer in USSR. I took a closer look. It was Ostankinskoe beer. No idea how to read that, unfortunately. What's the matter? Beer is also a fermented product. She gave me a deep gaze. Nobody will even notice. She had a point, but everything else looked so grotesque to me that I couldn't find anything to say. Everything just looked grotesque? Why? Are you sure? Absolutely. Okay then. The bottle clearly wouldn't fit into the pocket of my shorts. Well, thanks, I mumbled shyly, leaving the infirmary. Well, beer certainly could replace yeast. Even my limited knowledge of chemistry and biology was enough to accept this. But, generally, walking around with a bottle in my hands looked like a silly idea to me, so I decided to bring it to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin and hide it there. But I had to reach it somehow without anybody noticing the beer. I hid the bottle under my shirt. Slavia! And everything would have been fine, but Slavia called out to me at the square. Actually, she sprang out from behind me so suddenly that I even gave a start. How's it going? What exactly? Your search for ingredients. Oh, so you know already. Yes, I do. Slavia smiled. It's going alright, I answered, trying not to give away my unrest. And what do you have there? She pointed at a bottle sticking out from under my shirt. Ah, this, she got me. Yeah, it's, nothing. I blushed with a silly giggle. It's time to go. I was almost running, leaving the square with a puzzled Slavia behind. It's great that she is one of those people who don't ask unnecessary questions. But there are people in this camp who like nothing better than to poke their noses into other people's business. Passing the pioneers' cabins, I stumbled upon Uliana. Yeah, she's gonna ask unnecessary questions. Oy. What are you hiding there? She gave me one of her cheeky looks. I thought there was no point in denying anything, so I replied in a provocative manner. It's none of your business. I'm a Cipher officer bearing a message to headquarters. That's certainly a big, message. I was carrying the bottle at waist high, so I was slightly embarrassed. You want some help? I'll deal with it on my own. I walked past her confidently and proceeded on my way. To my surprise, she didn't say anything. Oh, nor to try to pursue me. Oh, that's strange. I really thought she would. There was nobody at Olga Dmitrievna's cabin, so I successfully managed to stuff the bottle under my bed. Once I got outside, I sighed with relief. Really, I couldn't believe that I would ever worry that much about a single bottle of beer. Like I was back in high school. It's a good thing it's safe now. Even if somebody finds it, I claim it's not mine. I could always think up of a suitable excuse for my enormous experience. And now, let's go to the clubhouse. And I'm gonna assume they have sugar. I don't remember, but I'm assuming that. It feels like I've gone through more things today than at all the previous days combined. Yeah. Thus, approaching the clubhouse, I'd even forgotten to think about how awkward it must be to look for sugar there. Ah! There it is. Their, machine. The Fembot? What do we call it? I don't know. Scythe and Electronic were enthusiastically building something. They were so busy that they didn't even notice me. I looked closely. It was some kind of robot. Or at least a body of one. Moreover, this robot was female and had animal ears. I didn't want to make up theories about purpose of such a device for luminaries of Camp Cybernetics. Even though the design looked practically workable, I had my doubts about this robot ever being able to conquer Earth, or at least being able to do anything on its own. These noises are weird in here. They seem to be enjoying the process more than the end result itself. And that was something we shared, even though I didn't want to admit it. On the other hand, they weren't afraid of possible failure, criticism or jokes. They were working towards their goal without paying attention to others, who would call it unrealistic or even absurd. Oh, it looks like I'm truly comparing them to luminaries of the sciences. I don't know what luminaries mean though. Hey guys! I greeted them uncertainly. Oh, Semyon, come in. We're always glad to see you. I was actually already inside. You know, sorry for what happened yesterday. I barely remember anything, but, well, never mind. It's okay. And what brings you to our humble abode? Electronic looked at me slyly. Sometimes I feel that he makes such a face when he knows something about the other person. Something he can use in a right moment. Sugar. I need sugar. An image from an ancient video game suddenly came into my mind, where some kind of unit like a builder or something cried out with all of its 5 pixels stature. Gold! We need more gold! Is that like a really old game then? Because I do not. I think my friend Giepi played that game. I'm gonna have to look it up if they have a gold miner there. But it was really pixelated and really old.
Wieso? Here, then we go up. There's an elevator! Fuck you! That was so random that Gator was hiding just out of sight. There was nothing to go. You're having a bad day and this Gator is having lunch. What the hell? That was so random.
We got it, said Electronic calmly. Why would you want it? I felt that I shouldn't explain to Scythe that they want to bake a cake for him. I shouldn't spoil the surprise. I don't know. Olga Dmitrievna told me to get some. Okay, hang on. Electronic disappeared behind the door into the next room. And why do you have sugar here? Why not in the canteen? When the food truck came last time, it was the last thing to unload. and given that our building is the closest one to the entrance, they decided to leave it here to save some effort. That's reasonable, isn't it? The door opened, revealing Electronic hauling a huge bag behind him. I really don't know what the size of the cake will be, but that was obviously too much sugar. Well, thanks, but I don't need it all. But where would we put it? Electronic gave me a surprised look. We don't have a place for it. But you just had it. You asked for sugar, so take it. It seems that the previous smile of his wasn't there without reason. Maybe you'll help me then? It's not that far to carry. We're busy. He pointed his hand at the robots. I guessed Shurek. He owed me, after all. He hesitated and then looked away in shame. I sighed, took the bag and headed to the door. Thanks anyway, I said at parting, exerting myself. But I didn't make it too far. Ooh, who is it? Is it gonna be Lena and possibly Miku? Yes, after a mere 20 meters, I had to put the bag down to have a rest. I had no idea how much it weighed, but it felt like more than 20 kilos. On the one hand, it was just 200 meters to the canteen. On the other hand, even such a distance with this payload on my shoulder, or alternatively my hands, or on my legs, or under my arm, or even on my head, looked impossibly for me to cover. And as I reassigned myself to move in minor sprints with prolonged pauses between them, so I could get there by night at least, I heard a voice behind me. Maybe I could help you. I saw Lena in front of me. I don't think you can. It was one of those moments when I felt painfully how dramatically I was out of shape. I can bring a handcart. A handcart? Why didn't I think of that myself? Yes, that would be great. Wait here, I'll be right back. She smiled and ran in a direction of the square. What would I do without her? It's good that Lena isn't always that shy and can take the initiative sometimes. I started to think. She seemed quite unusual now. With no trace of shyness on her face, and actually the complete opposite. Smiles and confidence. The offer of help wasn't something extraordinary by itself, but getting it from Lena. A few minutes later she came back with a smallish handcart. I put the bag down on it. Thanks. Don't mention it. She blushed and looked down. Oh, the Lena we all know is back. So, I'll go then. Yes, see ya. And thank you again, I shouted after her. Sometimes I felt like there were two different people living inside of Lena. But the second one, confident, happy and sometimes even bold, only appears when she talks to me. Or am I making things up again? I thought that it would be better if I got all the ingredients at once, so I headed to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin with a handcart. Finally, it seemed that everything had been collected. I took the handcart with sugar outside and put the sack with the flour in it, followed by the 2 baskets of strawberries that somehow fitted in between. And the beer was hidden under my shirt, just in case. The day was coming to its end, so I had to hurry. A cake itself would need some time to bake. Of course, I'd rather enjoy lying down, closing my eyes and getting a decent sleep, but I just couldn't let Olga Dmitrievna down. Indeed, after all the trouble I'd gone to, I'd even felt personally responsible for the successes of this event. Coming to the square, I stopped for a moment to catch my breath. It wasn't that the cart was heavy. It ran smoothly without any noticeable effort required. It was just that any physical exertion caused pain to me now. Both a physical and mental one. And we fell asleep? I sat down on the bench and closed my eyes for a moment. What's that? I didn't really give a damn who it was. Probably just a fellow pioneer girl taking an interest in an unfamiliar companion in distress. What are you talking about? I asked her tiredly. She didn't reply. Those are the ingredients for the cake. You like cakes? I don't know. What? You never tried cake? I don't know. Obviously the girl didn't get what I was talking about, but it didn't surprise me at that moment. I really wasn't interested in the conversation. I was so tired that I had zero intention of classifying external distractions and tagging them as either common or uncommon. I see. Come down to the canteen later and have a bite. Really? Really. And what are they made of? What? I asked indifferently. These cakes. Well, sunflower, some sugar, various fillings. Now that's a strange question. Doesn't she know what cakes are made of? And you have it all here? Yeah, sort of. And sugar? And sugar. Could you lend me a little? What for? I thought it was over the top. A sudden gust of wind made me grab the cart instinctively and open my eyes. However, nobody was there. Am I daydreaming? Something like that. Something like that. I noticed, though, that the sugar sack was untied and a small heap of it had poured out. Could it be that she was scared by the wind and ran away? Having fixed the sack, I got up from the bench and continued on my challenging strawberry way. Wait, strawberry way? Okay. Never heard that expression. There wasn't a single person near the canteen. No wonder. Dinner was still an hour away. I brought the handcart to the rear exit and handed the foodstuff to the camp cook. She must have already been told what to do with it, as she gave me such an unpleasant look. I'm not sure how long it takes to bake a cake, but it seems she had to hurry. I just wanted to relax for the remaining time up until dinner. In short, I was so tired that I just sat on the steps and waited. My eyes closed themselves. I guess I got so tired throughout the day that I didn't even notice how someone came up to me until they patted me on the shoulder. Who is it? Miku, there we go. Hi! Miku was standing before me. Yeah. I didn't need a mirror to imagine the expression of skepticism and annoyance on my face. Oh, excuse me, I must have interrupted you. No problem. I was just sitting here. Ah, alright then. Miku beamed with a smile. I was just coming to dinner. I thought that it's time already and then it appeared to me that it's too early, but I decided to check just in case. Maybe it's not just me who's mistaken, but the clock is. Maybe I'm not the one, maybe it's not me who's mistaken, but the clock is. Okay. Weird girl. Well, not the clock. Clocks can't be mistaken. It's just that I misread them. She seemed to be ultimately confused now and fell silent. It's still about half an hour before dinner. Oh, that's great, then I'll sit here and wait with you if you don't mind. Frankly speaking, I do mind. Everything is itchy. You know, I have some matters to attend to. I stood up quickly and left without saying goodbye, ignoring Mika as I always did, while she screamed something after me. Dude, we are so mean to her, but she's talking quite a lot. A minute later, I got to the square and sat on a bench with a firm intention of finding a quiet and safe place here to wait for dinner. I think this is the first time in the last 4.5 days when I felt like this. I wasn't just irritated because of some insignificant details, but indeed, I was really angry. I completely stopped caring about where I am and why I'm here. I don't care about how to get out either. What's driving me mad is that I always have to carry out some stupid task given by our camp leader, and it's always me who gets into stupid situations and sometimes even end up looking like a clown. If all of this is some alien trick or a plot of the universal mind, they better consult with their psychiatrist. I gritted my teeth and clenched my fists. And most annoying thing is that everything that happens seemed to happen by itself somehow. I'd be happy to not have to carry around a bag of sugar that weighed a ton, but I had no choice at all. I mean, any other option would lead to much worse consequences than a muscle strain or hurt pride. Who are you angry with? Juliana was standing in front of me and smiled slyly. Nobody really, I answered absently, but my fist gave me away. Just like that. Okay, it's up to you. You better tell me, why did you run around the camp with the whole day with some kind of bags? I had to, I replied reluctantly. I guess it was food. Maybe it was. Juliana was about to say something, but at that moment the bell rang, calling the pioneers for dinner. I sighed in relief and quickly headed to the canteen, leaving Juliana behind. Semyon, thank you very much. For what? The camp leader gave me a friendly smile. For the cake, of course. Ah, sure. It was at that exact moment that I understood the true meaning of the saying, keep your thanks to feed your cat. Okay, I guess it's a Russian expression because I never heard it. You didn't tell anybody. This ought to be a surprise. Yeah. That's my boy. And now, off you go to dinner. Olga Dmitrievna waved her hand, pointing at the canteen. I stepped through the doorway slowly and started to look for a free place. It turned out there were plenty today, so I got the chance to eat all alone. There was fish with mashed potatoes for dinner. What misfortune once again. I'll be left half hungry. And then we have fish for lunch. Is it a fish-only day today? Are we sleeping again? Having pushed my plate with a fried sea dweller away, I laid my head on my hands and closed my eyes. But soon, somebody came up to the table. Hey, are you alright? I'm fine, I replied without changing my position. Just tired? Yeah, a little. That's bad. Slavia said it seriously. Of course. You remember that we are going for the hike after the dinner, don't you? Have you prepared everything? There was a hike as well? Dude, Semyon is correct here. There's something going on considering that something is always happening here. Huh? What? Where? I opened my eyes and lifted my head up instantly. Lena was standing by Slavia. The hike? She was surprised. Didn't you know? No. I put my head down on the table and covered it with my hands. If only I could sink into the ground right away. The girls remained silent. I was left alone with my thoughts for some time, and that was fine by me. Maybe I could have sat that way until the end of the dinner time, but the strong voice of Olga Dmitrievna was heard from the opposite end of the canteen. Guys, to celebrate the miraculous rescue of our friend and comrade Shurik, we baked this cake for you all. I lifted my head idly and looked towards the camp leader, but couldn't see anything beyond the pioneers' backs. Just a second, and if this is as bad as all other things, then I'm not gonna have a piece of that cake, am I? I actually don't remember, so we'll see. And nothing about me. Nothing about me rescuing Shurik or gathering the ingredients for the cake. As if that's how it ought to be. Well, it would be wrong to expect anything else from our camp leader. Let's go, or we won't get our share. Slavia smiled. Let's go. Lena agreed. Yeah, sure. I got up reluctantly and tagged along behind the girls. As we approached the crowd of pioneers, Olga Dmitrievna was just putting the cake in the center of the table. And now... That's a great image. The camp leader wasn't able to finish as Juliana rushed out from the pioneers crowd and dived into the cake. That is an awfully small cake. It's big enough for the 5 of us, but Slavia isn't even there. And neither is Xenia, Shurik, or Electronic. And then there's the rest of the entire camp that we don't even know who they are. She managed to nibble it a few times before she was pulled away. She was kicking and screaming. I stared blankly from outside of all of this drama. Alyssa smiling, Lena picking up some of the cream with her finger. All the furious pioneers around. I felt completely out of place here. I thought that if I closed my eyes now and opened them again... Here I am, back to the safety of my apartment in front of a computer. But not quite, really, I guess. I blinked, but nothing changed. Only the noise and the confusion became sharper. Uliana, that's the limit. I guess... Well, in fact, behaving like this is a bit over the top even for her. Shurik broke into the conversation. Or is it a court-martial? Please, Olga Dmitrievna, since the cake is celebrating my return, it's no big deal. He hesitated. It doesn't matter. The camp leader turned to Uliana. And you. Today I'm going to punish you to the fullest extent, so you'll behave next time. Ah, whatever! She snorted and turned back. You won't be going on the hike with us tonight. As if I wanted to. I was more than willing to switch places with Uliana and skip the hike instead of her, but who knew? If I had guessed it beforehand, I'd have been the first one to the berserk and smash the damn cake. After a couple of minutes of confusion, the pioneers started to disperse. You have to get ready too. There'll be a lineup at the square in half an hour. I looked straight into the eyes of the camp leader, trying to express my attitude non-verbally, but it seems that I failed. Don't be late. Uliana was sitting at the table when I approached her on the way to the exit. So, why did you do it? She looked very upset. But you had a right to be so. I wanted to, Uliana replied abruptly. So, you happy now? Of course I am. And you, good luck with the hiking. Why was she blushing though? I'm not on her path, am I? No, I shouldn't be. She smiled mischievously, sprang up and rushed out to the canteen. Well, a little bit of luck wouldn't hurt. Walk and you shall reach. It was exactly this proverb that kept whirling in my head all the way down to the camp leader's cabin. Somehow, I just couldn't manage to argue, to pretend that I'm sick, or to just skip it without a reason. The events of this day taught me submissiveness. Although, sometimes whatever was happening made no sense to me. As I walked in, I had a thought. Well, in fact, I should get ready. Clothes? I only have an overcoat and a pair of jeans. Anyway, I forgot to ask whether it's going to be an overnight hike or not. I couldn't think of anything better, so I grabbed the sweater that I had on me when I arrived in the camp. The night might be fairly chilly, and shuffled slowly off to the square. All the camp was already there, although it was about 10 minutes before the time Olga Dmitrievna had designated. But that will actually be the end of today's episode. We managed to get all the ingredients for the cake. We had the cake. Well, we didn't really have the cake, now did we? Uliana had most of that cake, I guess. And now we're going on a hike up to the mountains or something, into the forest, I guess. We're gonna get lost again. Yeah, I would assume that's going to happen. I don't remember what this hike is all about. Well, yeah. Next episode, we are going to go hiking with all the girls and Olga Dmitrievna. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you Joseph for donating directly to my Ko-fi page. If you guys want to help me out, you can do so by clicking the link down in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, just because you're not the main character, it does not mean you're not important. Goodbye everyone.